Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas! I hope you're all having a wonderful festive period whatever you're celebrating. As I mentioned in my last video, I really wanted to make some top 10 videos of the year just to round the year off, and I felt like short stories needed their own video, so I've managed to whittle it down to 5. So this is my 5 favourite short story collections from the year. So at number 5 we have Children of the New World, stories by Alexander Weinstein, which is published by Picador and was out this year. But I requested this from the publisher and they very kindly sent it over to me about 3 or 4 months ago. This is a short story collection for all of you people that really enjoy sci-fi. It's got elements of post-apocalyptic and dystopian feel and also incredible advances in technology. I thought this was an absolutely fantastic story collection and it's definitely the one that I had the most fun with. My favourite short stories in this collection are Rocket Night, which is when one child every year is voted the least popular in a secondary school and they are blasted off into space, and it's a huge celebrated event, a little bit like Bonfire Night here in the UK, and it's really quite disturbing, but being as it's treated as this huge fantastic event you sort of just go along with it and then you realise actually how disturbing it is that this child is never going to be seen again. The other one that I really liked I think was the second short story in here, and it's called The Cartographers, and it's about this new technology where you can imprint memories into yourself and into other people, and these 3 men develop a company where they do it for people that need to forget certain events or would like certain memories implanted, and the one man gets addicted to the memories, and as the reader you struggle to figure out what is real and what is these memories, and there's a really clever plot twist at the end of that one and I absolutely loved it. So thank you very much Picador for sending me this. What a fantastic short story collection to start with. At number 4 we have Julie Oringer's How to Breathe Underwater, which was published in the USA by Penguin in 2003 and then in the UK in 2005. This is a fantastic real life coming of age short story collection about what it is like to grow up in more of a modern day society. This short story collection for me really encaptured what it felt like to be a teenager. There is a short story in here which I do think about quite a lot, and it is Note to My 6th Grade Self, where a woman is looking back on her life in the 6th grade in school and she's reflecting on dance classes that she used to go to, and she was very unliked and bullied by these girls. It's very instructional, and she's reminiscing on how the fact that she remembered how to do specific things, like how she was remembering how she held herself and how she felt like she had to look a certain way to feel popular, and remembered forcing her body to do certain things to make her feel more accepted. And I feel like that's a very disturbing message to have, but also very accurate, at least for me. Definitely really struck a chord with me. If I could write extremely competently and beautifully at the time, that would have been exactly it. It is exceptionally written and I absolutely love this. I really would recommend this for anybody who is going through a difficult period in their life. Just reminds you that you're not alone and anything is possible, because this certainly has got a positive note to it as well. At number 3 we have the very beautiful A Guide to Being Born by Ramona Ushabel, which was published by Riverhead Books in 2013. I read this a few months ago in a buddy read with Joss over at Scribbles Read. I'll leave a link to her channel down below, but I'm sure you're all already aware of her. And we had the most wonderful time reading this collection. We were so into it and really went through each story individually. So this short story collection is actually split up into 4 different sections. We've got birth, gestation, conception and love, and there's a couple of short stories in each collection and it goes through sort of the cycle of life. The one that we talked about the most, and definitely my favourite from the collection, is one called Poppy Seed, and it is about a husband and a wife dealing with a severely disabled daughter and deciding what to do when she hits puberty. She will continue to have the mind of a 2 to 3 year old and will not develop in any way mentally, but her physical body continues to grow. They struggle with her growing pubic hair, starting her periods, developing breasts, and it's a difficult decision whether they decide to have her breast buds removed, and how they deal with that is really quite startling. But again, something that really does happen, and it was dealt with so fantastically and brilliantly that I just adore this short story collection. It is such a wonderful collection and I would highly recommend this to anybody that hasn't read it. Ramona Ushabel is a fantastic author. Number 2 we've actually got a book that I just finished reading this last day, and that is Virgin and Other Stories by April Ayers Lawson, which actually doesn't come out until January next year, and this was very kindly sent to me from Granta after I requested it. This is a fantastic short story collection that I read all in one sitting, and I always know when I do that it's going to be a really good collection. This is all about sexuality and being a virgin, and it also deals with issues of transgender, and it definitely did challenge my opinions and how I see the world in terms of those things. And the title story, Virgin, was really interesting actually. It's about a married couple that haven't actually had sex yet, and the woman is still a virgin, and when it comes to the evening where they're going to do it on their honeymoon, she shies away and she can't do it, and it goes into dealing what happened there in her past and why she can't. But then it also shows the breakdown of their marriage, and it brings them back into present day where they're at this fancy dinner at somebody's house and they're both looking for other sexual partners. The other story in here that I absolutely love, and is definitely my favourite in here, is called The Way You Must Play Always, which is about a young girl that has a young piano teacher, and she goes to her house every week and has piano lessons, and then one day she goes down the corridor and sees this man who turns out to have brain cancer, and he's got a huge scar on the side of his head, and she almost fetishizes it in a way. Obviously she's a very young girl, I think she's only about 13-14, so she might not necessarily know that herself, but it definitely comes through from the reader's perspective, and they start this almost love affair, and it's really quite intense, but mixed in with beautiful metaphorical language about music and the way it transcends and ebbs and flows, and that is really written into the story, and it just swept me away. Absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to see how well this does when it comes out in January. And number one, have you made your guesses? Have you placed any bets? If you've seen the book break video over at Pam Macmillan, then you do already know the answer to this, but it is the wonderful Kirsty Logan's The Rental Heart and Other Fairy Tales. Aside from this, I'm also going to very quickly have an honourable mention, which is A Portable Shelter, which is Kirsty's new short story collection, which I love just as much, but for now I am going to just talk about The Rental Heart. Wow, this is the first short story collection that I ever read. I read this back in, I think, March, and it completely swept me away. I was absorbed in this. I read it all the way through and then instantly went back to the first page and started reading it again. My absolute favourite, which is my favourite short story of all time, is right at the end, and it is called Origami, and it is about a woman who makes her boyfriend out of origami, and she is addicted to origami, and her boyfriend is not there, and he calls her every night and makes sure she's not making origami. She's covered in paper cuts, and she always has to have something in her hands and fiddle with things. I just love it. I love everything about this collection, and I think everybody should go and pick this up. If you take one thing away from any of my reviews, it is go and buy this. It is fantastic. So that is it. That is my 5 favourite short story collections that I have read all year. I have read some amazing short story collections, and I cannot wait to read more in 2017. Please let me know if you've got any comments about what I've just shown you, whether you've read them yourself or you're going to go and pick them up now. And I hope you all have a lovely week and a really lovely Christmas, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!